Yeah, everyone. So we're, again, rearranging some furniture because we've come to the final item on our agenda at this year's conference. And if you ask me, it's also one of our highlights that we've been doing for the past couple of years. It is our annual Hubect eMobility Startup Award. So this is the 4th year that we're doing this because, you know, we all know what a pivotal role startups play in this industry. They're the visionaries, they're the innovators, and we need startups to keep doing what they do, to push us with their creative solutions and their ideas. And yeah, but it's not easy to get established in this business. I think everybody knows that, right? Like getting a foothold, even if you have a great idea, if you don't have the right support, if you don't have the right exposure or the right visibility, it's very hard. And because Hubect itself has its origins as a startup, I think they really wanted to take an opportunity to honor that and to give the startups the encouragement and also the visibility, the exposure. And that's why they started doing this award ceremony. And in fact, many, many startups applied this time around. And I think there were about 14 that was approved and entered the competition sort of officially. And then over the past couple of weeks, the eMobility community had its say. And ultimately, out of the 14 official applicants, we're down to 4 startups that were selected as the finalists. So already, these 4 are remarkable in and of their own. And I'm really excited to hear about their ideas and what they have to offer. So just a quick sort of overview of how it works. We will have a jury, which I will introduce in just a second. And each of these startups will have a chance to give a 5-minute elevator pitch, I guess is what it's called. And then the jury will have to decide. Okay, so first things first, let's introduce the members of our jury. They are Christian Hahn, who needs no introduction, of course, as the CEO of Hubect. We have Wolf Schlachter, the CEO of DXBE Management Group, Carolina Solcha, who's a partner at EVWay by Route 220, and Majay Lehman, he's an investment analyst at Future Energy Ventures. So jury members, come on up. Okay, so as I said, there are going to be these 4 startups, and they're going to do a 5-minute pitch. But before that, I'm going to read one sentence that they provided to describe their company or their startup. So I didn't write this one sentence. They were just asked that they submit one sentence that I should read out to explain who they are. So here we go. We will begin with our very first finalist. It's David Schön. He is the co-founder and CEO of VePa Vertical Parking. So David, come on up if you are here. David, come on. You're the first. Let's go. Okay, David, you have your clicker, you have your microphone.
Looking good, yeah.
Okay, does the microphone work? Try again.
Yes.
Okay, just hold it very close, like ice cream. Okay, so I'm going to read the one sentence about your company, and then we have the timer that's going to start, and then we're really excited to hear your pitch. And are you excited?
Yes.
Are you feeling relaxed?
It's okay.
Just grounded. You know, I coach people in public speaking, so I'm going to be your coach for 10 seconds. So imagine you have roots going down through the stage, and you're feeling really solid, and you have lots of space, and you're going to tell us about your company. Okay? Cool. All right, here we go. So VePa Vertical Parking builds 12 charging points on a 45 square meter footprint in a rotating parking system and operates the VePa charging hubs itself. We got it. Okay?
Yes.
Excellent. So here we go. Is the clock beginning? Here we go.
All right. Thank you so much. And we start with the why we're doing it. And if you have a look at our cities today, this is what it looks like. We have too many private cars. They take up a lot of space. And then on the bottom right, you also see the charging points. And those charging points, they also take up space. And I don't think that's a very efficient use of our public space. And we believe from VePa, we are a startup from Munich. We are 13 people right now, founded 2 years ago. And our solution looks like this. So we enable cities to become more green, to give more space to the people, and most importantly, to make a transition in the mobility space. And what are we doing today? Because we start in a very different sector, which is the real estate sector. And we solve the parking problem for real estate companies, for housing companies, because they are mandatory to build parking spots anyway. So this was our first market. And we have 4 projects. You will see the first one, which is already built, close to Munich. And we also got the building permit in Berlin, so no chance of escaping us in the next past month. And we have some big labels who we already signed, who we're working with. So I think that's a pretty big proof of market in this segment. And this is what it looks like. This was a couple of weeks ago, the foundation. Then we built it up, our system. And this is how the product looks like. And what it can do, it's a paternoster technology. So it's an engine which moves a chain. And on this chain, there are attached 12 spaces where you can charge your cars and park your cars. It's made in Germany. It's modular, it's industrialized, so it comes on like 2 heavy trucks, and we can build it up pretty quickly. And even with this foundation, we can build it back whenever you need to, but it can also stand for 25 years. So we have a building code, we have the fire regulation, we have the TÜV, we have everything done with our product. And we can also charge. I think that's why we're here. That's why we're very excited to be here, because we're a space-efficient way to charge the cars in cities. And what's next? We build and operate those VePa charging hubs in public space. We just need a little bit of space from the cities, and we solve the charging infrastructure, especially in public realm, on a very, very small footprint, 45 square meters. That is just like 2 cars on the ground right now. What we're doing for that is we find location with public and private players. So location partners, Standortpartner. We're talking to Stadtwerke, we're talking to cities, but also to private real estate partners who do this with us. And we are currently setting up an infrastructure fund with institutional investors who will help us with the CapEx and the financing of those products, because as a startup, otherwise it's going to be costly with the equity. And we want to build the most seamless public charging infrastructure in cities. And once I was told, never stop your pitch without saying what you want and what you need. So that's why we're very happy to be here. We're looking for partners to build a seamless charging system on the hardware and the software part, because our know-how is the building world, the machine engineering world, and we need partners to operate those towers. We're looking for a product manager for charging system currently also, and we do a funding round in the middle of the next year. So also happy to talk to investors afterwards. And let's get in touch. I was a little bit quick, but I think we have more time for questions then. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, fantastic, David. So I forgot to mention, to be fair, the format is you get 2 questions from our jury members. So that's the only questions that you need to worry about. And how will you guys decide? You maybe also take turns. So we can just go like in a row, and you can ask a question.
Sure. So the first question: how do you want to scale the business? I mean, do you want to install the charging spots yourself, or do you want to partner up with local installers and then, basically resell the solution for them?
I think it's a mixture, but it will be the way to work with key accounts in the cities like Stadtwerke, but also like with the Schwarzgruppe, who we're talking to very intensely with. And if we got those location partners, I think that's our way to scale and get the locations.
Mm-hmm. So one more question?
Yep, happy to do so. Thank you for the presentation. I really found it very insightful, and I think it's a very interesting concept. What I missed a bit during the presentation, but you have shown it on your last slide, which I really look forward, is how do you want to also tackle the sustainability topic, right? Because the last slide is showing your product, your vertical parking system, with solar panels on top of it. You also had green walls in place. Is that part of the concept, or is it just a kind of additional service where you're saying if customers are paying for it, we can also do it?
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't mention that, but we have more levers of sustainability actually. Because the first business case I was talking about in the real estate, our competitor is an underground garage. And we are 98% less CO2 per parking spot than the underground garage. And the lever of change in the public space is that we need less space where we can unseal the surface, but also we will have a whole energy system with PV on top and on the south side. We can have greening modules on our tower which cool our cities. So this was all going to be integrated, but I think it's so clear for me that I didn't mention it, so thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Well done. Okay. So. All right, I just realized I'm standing with my back to our guests on this side of the room, so I'm going to maybe stand on this side of the room to have my back not towards you. Okay, so our next pitch is going to be from Christopher Burgahn. He's the founder and CEO of Fronyx. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Come on up, Christopher. Welcome. All right, Christopher, so I also have this sentence that your company sent, except it's not a sentence, it's a question. So I will read the question that was sent to us about your startup, and here we go. Have you ever thought about what an AI assistant like Jarvis from Iron Man could look like for EV drivers? I have not, but now I have. Okay, so Christopher, if you're ready, so whenever you're ready, there's our clock, and
if that works. Now
it does work, and only when I say go. So I need to make sure that you're ready to go. Yeah?
I am ready to go.
Excellent. So let's start the clock.
E-mobility solution providers have the most important role in our market. Why? Because they are the face to the customer. They are the ones that will onboard all the EV drivers that will now enter the market and hopefully help them seamlessly charge. But somehow they seem to struggle. How many charging apps have you seen over the last years rising and falling? I know that there are many experts in this room, and you know all the different reasons why this is the case. But I want to pick out only one today, and that is customer retention. This is the typical smartphone of a EV driver, having tons of EV charging apps. And typically you drive to a charging station, and often you then just switch on the spot. This charging station doesn't work really, let's try another app. And there we see that customer retention in eMSP apps is a problem. So what can the eMSPs do about it? I think that eMSPs can increase customer retention by turning from a pure information and payment provider into a trusted charging companion. What I mean with that is now back to the introduction sentence. Maybe you remember all these AI companions from the famous Hollywood movies, like C-3PO from Star Wars, or Jarvis from Iron Man, or the computer in the Enterprise. And now imagine that we bring something like that to EV charging. And the good thing is, this is not science fiction anymore, because we have built it. And we call it ChargeGPT. The technology to turn every EV charging app into a trusted charging companion. And what I mean with that is illustrated here, that we go from very manual processes where the user have to do everything by themselves. They need to collect all the information, the app by themselves, and feel a little bit left alone, to something where they can just say what they want. I want to go to the cinema Friday afternoon or evening at 8 p.m., recommend me a charger nearby, and then get a result shown. As we maybe know already from the routing, where we just get 3 routes proposed and we select one. And we have now picked one of the famous charging apps out there, ChargeEV, from EV freaks. Felix and Remus are sitting there. We have, over the last weeks, now integrated or used their charging network to demonstrate what that means. And I brought a short video where we can now see what happens. Here at the top, you can see what you can type. You can, for example, type, I want to charge at a fast charger near the Deutsche Technikmuseum in Berlin. It then searches it up, provides you a recommendation, the first recommendation here, and even more here. You can select between the fastest. Or you can do something like recommend me a charge at a Burger King in Berlin in about 3 hours, and we will check for a charging station close to a Burger King, Alexanderplatz here, for example, this 22 kilowatt charger. And this is just the beginning, because destination charging is only one part, obviously. We are a powerhouse of data scientists and eMobility and software experts, and we are now moving quick. We are integrating a lot of different EV charging use cases. Imagine something like charging app, please charge up for 25 euros. Or charging app, where is the cheapest charge point in Berlin-Kreuzberg? Or charging app, why the heck does this charge point not work? And you get an answer, and the companion helps you to solve the problem. You can now try this by yourself with going or using this QR code, chargegpt.ev-freaks.com. You can, if you are one of the quick ones in the market, you can just integrate the API into your own charging service. It's ready, you can use it. Or if you want to play a little bit more cautiously, you can run a 4-week proof of concept with us. We provide you a charging app. You can try it out with your beta users or your employees, and we are then helping you with the data science point of view that you understand how well this works and how the users are experiencing it. I'm looking forward to the questions and to a discussion afterwards, or you can reach me via this email address. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. Now we have a question from...
You go first.
They're going to argue who's going to ask first. So who's going to ask first? Oh, okay.
So thanks, Christopher. We know each other, I would say, 5 years or 6 years. I would say something like 2017. So I have 2 questions on one. On one side, why have you founded again? And the other question, why have you chosen an AI project from that point of view, where you already know, let's say, your customers quite well on the CPO side? So I think this is a core market for your product. And how are you doing to scale that? That's my question from that point of view.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a person, I love new technology and obviously the EV space. I'm here since 6 years, and what I'm trying to do is I want to find a sweet spot where we can, with amazing new technology, solve a problem in an innovative way, because that is the approach that a startup like us or every other startup needs to go. You need to find your niche and provide a high-class or high-value add-on that can be utilized by the industry. And that's the approach, and that's why we started again. Thank you.
I believe everybody is trying ChargeGPT on their own. What do you think you can bring more to somebody who is already an eMSP and has some scientists who could work on this by themselves?
Yeah, the one side is on the EV driver, and that's what we focus on. But what we more and more learn is that the moment when EV drivers start talking to the charging service, the business also learns a lot about the drivers. So you can utilize this technology a lot also on the business side. And with ChatGPT, we see already all these enterprise startups that want to automate a lot of internal processes. And that's what's happening in the EV charging world at some point as well, and which then makes operating an MSP service and a CPO also more easy on the business side.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you as well.
Well done. All right. Okay, up next, our third startup contender is Issam Tidjani. He's the founder and managing director of Cariqa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yay! Welcome, Issam. Hello. Hello. Okay, so we had a sentence, we had a question, but your company sent us a fragment. So to describe what you do, so we have a sentence fragment. So Cariqa, the all-in-one platform for eMobility. So that's what we're going to learn about. Are you ready for your 5-minute elevator pitch?
I better be.
Excellent. Okay. The clock is right there. You got your eye on the clock, and we're really excited to hear about your startup. Can we start the clock, please?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Do you remember what was the topic of last year's ICNC? It was about enabling seamless customer experiences. Yet, a year went by, and despite all these aspirations, the complexity for the end user is still very much alive and kicking. The 2023 EV driver report from Share Recharge paints a very vivid picture. More than half of EV drivers needs to juggle with at least 3 EV apps every day to manage their EV, and 43% are going through a Rolodex of charging cards. And while this might have been perfectly acceptable for the early generation of EV drivers, the early adopters, and for the bargain hunters, the new generation that is coming into the market today needs and demands something simpler. And I thought about it as well introspectively about the first time that I got my EV, and you had this feeling, we were really craving for something that was integrated, where I could do everything into one single place. But we started also talking to drivers, many kinds, different cohorts, and in 9 out of 10 times, the answer was always the same. We are struggling with fragmentation. We don't want to deal with this mess. And I think that the outcome is pretty clear. Driving an EV should not be complicated or intimidating. So we decided to take the challenge on board, and we decided to build Cariqa. So this is the first incarnation of what we've built, our beautiful and seamless driver app. But Cariqa at its core is a place where all the pieces of the eMobility puzzle, the services that have been built by the very people in this room, come together into a seamless and unified experience. Charging, planning your routes, monitoring your vehicle, and soon turn-by-turn navigation and home energy device connectivity, all packaged into a very simple-to-use product under one roof. Now, we launched a couple of months ago, and we are seeing incredible tractions. Thousands are already on board, and we have a favorability of score of 95% in terms of ratings. And at this point, we have enough to say that they're not just from our mothers. But what is really special about Cariqa? It's personalization. So Cariqa learns about you every time that you use it, learns your driving habits, learns your charging habits, and is capable at some point to not only satisfy your needs, but to predict them. And therefore, making sure that, for example, you have a completely personalized consumption models for your routing prediction, all the way to completely personalized charging and reminders and recommendations. And we believe that this, together with our completely holistic approach to the eMobility topic, allow us to unlock boundless monetization opportunities that transcends charging. For example, you can go from the very trivial one, contextual offers while you're charging, all the way to being in a much better position to help our partner CPOs balancing their demand and therefore lowering their peaks and making sure that idle time is less during that moment. All the way again to helping grid operators to make sure that the grid stays more resilient. And, but there is one point that I would really like to stress. We have built this platform to be neutral and collaborative. We're not planning to build everything ourselves. We want to make it great for the customer, and we want to make sure that the beautiful technology that has been built by the people in this room can shine in the eyes of the customer. And that's it.
Okay. Fantastic. Now we have 2 questions from our jury members.
All right, thanks a lot for the pitch. Very interesting for sure. Maybe one question on other solutions that are available on the market. I think that a similar mission or a similar product is on the agenda of many automotive companies as well, as they want to be your partner for everything that happens after you purchase the car. So in that context, what stops them from doing something similar to what you want to build, right? So the personalized offer, something very contextual. How is it possible that you are able to do it and they probably are slower?
So I think that there are 2 answers to this question. One is higher level, which is choice. The latest JD report came out a few weeks ago and is clearly showing how more than half of the people do not want to deal with what the OEM makes available to them, because they know that what is personal to them is their phone, is not their car, and therefore they want, for example, CarPlay and Android Auto are way more popular than the IVI systems. The second one is speed and knowledge, because in a way, processes at the OEM level takes ages and lots of iteration and everything. And this is where we are in the market today. We have a first mover advantage, and we can just move forward from there. But anyway, we want to collaborate, so never say never.
All right, thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you. Thank you also from my side. Also, I said, very interesting pitch. And we already heard a bit, or asked a question, what is the competitive edge? From your point of view, how do you see your solution in 5 years' time? What do you think how you will position your solution in 5 years' time in the market?
So Christian briefly talked about customer retention and how it is important. And I think that this is how things are going to evolve, is really that what is important is having this relationship with the customers and then really build on top of this simplicity to unlock all these business models so that you acquire the user once, but then you can monetize the users in different ways through data, through additional services, upselling and everything. So what we see ourselves in 5 years is really be this powerhouse in terms of having the relationship with the customers, but then offering everything to the customer through a unified interface.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Well done. Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right, I can't believe it. We just have one more contender to go. So our last presentation is going to be by Karem Chatti. He is the co-founder and COO of DeepVolt. All right, so Karem, hello. Welcome. Welcome. All right, so come to the center, because we want to be able to see you very well. And I will now read the one-sentence description or statement from your startup. And it's also not a full sentence, but a fragment. Here we go. Ready, everybody? So, about DeepVolt, empowering EV charging investments with AI location analytics. Okay, you got it. So, we have the 5-minute clock, which you can see. You're feeling good?
Absolutely well.
Excellent. Well, we'll speak again. We want to make sure the microphone is working.
Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes. Okay, yeah, good. Perfect. So the microphone is working. The clock is ready. Karem is feeling very good and solid and happy.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Let's get the clock going. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening. Good afternoon. Not good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karem, co-founder of DeepVolt, the startup that leverages the power of your data to empower your investment in EV charging infrastructure. How many CPOs are in this room? Okay, a lot of them. Cool. So I guess most of you agree that probably one of the most challenging parts in having a profitable charging station is, as our friends in McKinsey say, location, location, and location. So today, the expected and needed utilization rate for fast charging stations to become profitable is 15%. Meanwhile, the average utilization rate today in Europe is only 8%. And this is mainly due to the poor selection of charging stations, especially at the beginning of the transition to eMobility. And we know that there's a lot of challenges hiding behind. So if we dig deeper, it's a lot hard and a lot difficult to get all the data from all the sources and prepare it and collect it and keep it always up to date. So we at DeepVolt get you covered and do the heavy lifting for you. We collect the data from the publicly and commercially available sources. We do the dirty work for you, and we get you DeepVolt Location Intelligence Assistant, the AI-powered software that predicts and finds the best locations for EV charging stations in minutes. Let's go through it. So first starts with exploring the EV charging demand influencing factors via heat maps that are collected from all the sources and that are prepared and cleaned for you to visualize. You can see also the different points of interest that are in your city and see which one is more interesting for you. So let's go through the journey of finding the best retail spot in Paris. So basically you can see all the retail locations around Paris. You can evaluate one of them. You have a site attractiveness score that is adapted to your company. You have also stats of what is happening nearby, how many competitors are nearby, and also about the demographics in that area, in that location. You also can see how many nearby points of interest are available, etc. But also, you can directly compare it to other retail locations in the same city and in the same area with just few clicks. So you can add as many locations as you want and as many locations as you need, and you see all the details about the comparison in front of your screen. The most important part in here is that you are able to customize the scoring system and the evaluation criteria according to your company's needs, because not each CPO have the same strategy. So what makes you different is your company's strategy and the ability to fine-tune it and to adapt it. So Delia is fully customizable. After that, you can go the extra mile, and you can do a prediction of the expected energy consumption in a new location if you enter a number of different types of chargers in a given location. So this is the prediction process, and this is like what you get, an expected energy consumption per day, but also we can fine-tune this further to your company's needs. Then you can download the details in a beautiful report that you can share with your colleagues, but also with your partners and your potential customers. Final thing, you have all of this saved for you to see later on, to download the reports later on, and also have a history of your full analysis and also your team's analysis. This is Delia. This is something that is built to be fully customizable and also fully transparent in order to be able to do the right decisions according to your company's strategy. But also to go the extra mile, we offer Delia Exclusive, which is an exclusive AI model for each CPO fine-tuned to their company's needs. The process is pretty simple. Basically starts with sharing a sample of data. We build the proof of concept that we validate together throughout a metric that we agree on. We fine-tune the model, and after that, you only pay if you are 100% convinced with the model performance. Thank you very much. This was Karem from DeepVolt, the startup that accelerates adoption to eMobility. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Karem. And now we have 2 questions from our jury members.
You have developed this for mobility now. Do you foresee that you can add additional services in the future to keep the company growing?
So there are 2 ways for the company to grow. Even we focus on this product and we adapt it to other industries, or we focus on the industry and we build other products. Since we are a team combined of developers in addition to eMobility experts, we are more focused on the eMobility field, and we'll be developing other products in the same space, in the eMobility intelligence. So we'll be using data for other purposes in order to optimize the charging process, in order to optimize the installation process, but also we'll be covering the space of the lifetime of the EV charging, starting from the planning to the operation of the electric one.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for your presentation, very nice. Can you tell me a little bit about your monetization strategy on that point of view? Because, well, if you take a look into the market, there are already some players existing which are doing, let's say, especially if you have started a site selection process, you're a CPO, you want to get to know if there's a McDonald's beside or there is a grid available, and so on. So from that point of view, I would say this is one case for you. where you're focusing with CPOs or all people or customers which are installing charging infrastructure. What is the second business case for the next step?
Okay. The second question, because I like it so much, so let's start with it.
Yeah.
So for DeepVolt, the next immediate step is to work on this product to improve it further. The AI models will be much more adapted to long-term predictions rather than short-term predictions. But we will also be working on other aspects on the industry. We are working on another product in which it will help and accelerate the installation process of the EV charging stations. So this is like in pretty mid-term agenda, but immediately we will be like more focusing on this product and improving it in order to be able to be fully customized in terms of predictions as well, but also in terms of how you design scenarios in the future and how to adapt them exactly to your needs.
Thank you.
The other question is about monetization.
Yeah.
So basically, our app is now accessible via a pay-per-predict or pay-as-you-go model. So if you're like a small CPO with limited resources, you do not have to pay a monthly or yearly subscription. You only pay for what you use. And if like a bigger CPO, you also pay for what you use, but if you reach some threshold of utilization, we have discounts for these customers because it doesn't make sense to pay a lot of money for them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Good
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, many
Thank you.
thanks. So, both is very, very sneaky and snuck in 2 questions in one, but we're going to forgive you, and he did well. Okay, so I have to say, I'm really glad that I'm not on the jury because I think this is very, very difficult to actually pick one because they're all super interesting and somehow unique. So these guys, we'll give them a few minutes to deliberate and put their heads together and to discuss, debate. So we'll give you a couple of minutes, all right? So while they do that, we're going to do something else, okay? So you just take your time, and in the meantime, to pass the time, we have our little quiz, our trivia quiz for our ICNC participants. So do we need the app? Can they vote? Yes. Okay, everybody open up your app. We're going to see how smart you are and how well you know your eMobility or mobility trivia. We love trivia games. Hooray. Okay. All right. So is everybody ready with their app? We have our first trivia question. So, what electric car model became famous for being featured in the movie Back to the Future? We have to see how old people are in the audience. So, the younger participants probably have no idea. All right, was it A, KIT, B, the DeLorean DMC-12, the C, Aston Martin DB5, or the Volkswagen Beetle? Okay, so have you guys had a chance to type in your selection? Okay, let's take a look how smart you are. All right, can we see the results? Oh, we can't fool our audience members. Yes, most of you did get it right. It is, of course, the DeLorean. Very nice. Excellent. Hooray! Well done. Okay, so are we ready for the next question? Let's take a look at our next trivia question. In the late 1800s, which U.S. city had a thriving electric taxi fleet before the dominance of gasoline-powered taxis? So, was it San Francisco, New York, Chicago, or Washington? Okay, let's give everybody a moment to make their selection. Okay, don't think too long, just pick one. Okay, let's take a look at your answers, everyone. All right, so here people were not that sure, but believe it or not, most of you got it wrong because the answer is New York City, right, with around 60 electric cabs by 1899. Weird. Yeah, my hometown, New York. Okay. Are we ready for the next question? Let's take a look. You trivia buffs all of you. Okay. In what year did Formula E, the International Electric Car Racing Series, make its debut? We have so many choices. 1972, 1983, 1999, 2000, or 2014. I'm just going to say this answer surprised me. But I don't know. Okay, so everybody had a chance to just pick a year. Should we take a look at what you guys thought? Can we see? Yes, most of you also guessed the right answer. It was, in fact, 2014. I don't know, I thought it was earlier than that for some reason, but I was wrong. And most of you did, in fact, know the right answer. Cool. Okay, they're still talking. Can we do another one? Yeah, okay, let's see another one. In what year did the first electric bike, known as the electro bike, make its debut? 1832, 1897, 1902, 1935, 1957. So I don't know how people know this kind of bicycle history. Okay, they look ready. Okay, can we see your answers? Okay. So more or less people had the right idea roundabout, but it was, in fact, in 1897. So again, most of you did know the right answer. Yeah, that's when the electro bike was introduced, making it one of the earliest examples of electric mobility. Gosh, we have smart audience members. Fantastic. Okay, jury, are you ready?
We are,
Yes.
indeed.
All right. So what a difficult decision. I'm going to stand over here next to this very beautiful startup Hubect eMobility Startup Award trophy. So we're going to find out who is going to be the lucky recipient of this year's trophy.
Yeah. Before we are announcing this, I really would like to thank you again, all the finalists, right? Keeping in mind that many, many companies applied this year for the Startup Award. All of them spent a lot of energy and time preparing their presentations, telling us why their solutions are so great, and also keeping in mind that 4 people prepared probably a lot of days to make their pitches today. I really would like to give them a warm applause and thank them again for all the presentations. And frankly speaking, we just faced a very challenging situation because somehow in the last couple of years, it was a bit easier to select the final candidate because everyone already had a kind of idea who could be the right company to select for. But this time it was definitely more tough than ever before. And we really, really liked all the presentations, business models behind, ideas, and all the innovative power. And it really also shows that our industry is, even if it's a bit, let's say, getting older and older, right? 10 years, 15 years, we're already doing this, but still there are so many great ideas in place, which also shows that the future of our industry will become even more exciting. And that's really what motivates me. On the other hand, we needed to make a decision, right? In the end, there's only one winner, so therefore we discussed it a lot. And we decided for one company for 2 main reasons. The first reason is, of course, and we asked this a bit in our questions, every startup needs to have a perspective on how to set up a profitable business model, right? And I think we all know that this is, I would call it a challenge nowadays already, right? And that's a bit why we have also defined this, the theme for this year, Path to Profit. How can we set up more profitable business models in the industry? And we had the impression that one company very much focused on this, how to make profit now, not only in the future, but now. And the second reason why we have chosen the winning company is that we also had the impression that it's a very tangible solution, right? Because in the end, it's great to have visions, but on the other hand, you also need to sell it to someone. You need to sell it to investors, to partners, to customers. And we had the impression that also with this product this company has presented, it was a very tangible solution as well. So therefore, I'm very, very happy to announce the winner of this year's Hubect eMobility Startup Award, this great fancy trophy, which is the company called Vertical Parking, VePa.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Really great presentation. And as I said, we are really very proud to hand you over this year's award, and you also get this prize. And of course, we are very happy to see you again then next year at the Intercharge Conference 2024 to tell us how this prize hopefully has helped you getting more visibility and more traction on the market. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Congratulations. Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at the end of this year's conference. So thank you so much to our jury members. Thank you for an amazing presentation. David, is there anything that you want to tell people before? I think he's still processing, right? the nervousness, you know, hopefully transitioning into a feeling of happiness. Exactly.
All good.
All good. Fantastic. So congratulations again, and good luck. Good luck with the startup.